This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We're live in Abuja. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Nigeria and the Russian Federation have resolved to put their highly beneficial relations on fast track by not only pursuing the completion of abandoned and partially executed projects initiated by the two countries, but also starting new ones in critical economic sectors for the benefit of their people. This new chapter in Nigeria-Russia ties was formally opened at the high-level meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Russian leader Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of the ongoing Russia-Africa Economic Summit in Sochi. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo completes the report.
It was a warm and highly befitting welcome for the leader of the largest economy in Africa, President Muhammadu Buhari, by the Russian leader Vladimir Putin as he arrived for talks aimed at deepening ties between their countries. The president is one of the selected 5 African leaders to be hosted separately by President Putin during the summit, and perhaps the most significant. Apart from agreeing to work together towards developing Nigeria's enormous gas potentials and infrastructure, the two leaders also promised improving the efficiency of the nation's oil sector through the rehabilitation of epileptic refineries, as well as establishing a framework for a joint venture between the NNPC and Russia's leading oil company for oil prospection in the deep offshore.
There are many similarities between Russia's journey under your leadership and Nigeria's aspirations for the future. We can learn a lot from the experience of Russia's ongoing reforms of transitioning from an oil-dependent economy to a modern, diversified, and inclusive economy. Russia has, through these reforms, successfully privatized a number of state-owned entities, which have now become a global household names. This is especially so in the energy, manufacturing, defense, and the metallurgical sectors.
The issue of the uncompleted and abandoned Ajakuta Steel Company was equally discussed, with President Buhari requesting for the return of Russia on a government-to-government relationship for the completion and inauguration of the plant, a proposal fully accepted by the Russian leader. Russia also agreed to develop Nigeria's rail infrastructure by the construction of a 1,400-kilometer rail line from Lagos to the south-south city of Calabar. Talks were also finalized on the advancement of the ongoing project for the establishment of a nuclear power plant in Nigeria. On security and military cooperation, President Buhari promised to renew the Nigeria-Russia military technical agreement, saying he had already directed the Ministers of Defense and Justice to conclude this matter within the shortest time possible. This agreement is expected to give impetus to further cooperation in the direct procurement of military hardware on a government-to-government basis at a less cost, as well as the training of military personnel, the modernization of the armed forces, and the renewal of their infrastructure and equipment, which President Putin promised to undertake. Discussions also centered on the aluminium smelter company of Nigeria, Ikwadabasi, geological prospecting of Nigeria's solid minerals, education and agriculture, especially wheat production, as well as the enhancement of security in the Gulf of Guinea and indeed the country against piracy, oil theft, as well as terrorism and insurgency. To concretize all this and move forward, President Buhari made a case for the two countries to organize the 5th Joint Commission meeting to review and ratify all the 40 agreements contained in the Nigeria-Russia Joint Commission on Economic, Scientific and Technical Cooperation Protocol of 2016, a suggestion also accepted fully by the Russian leader.
I really hope that your visit to Russia will give a new impetus to our relations in all dimensions.
From Sochi, Russia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And back home, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed delight with the World Bank's 2020 Doing Business Index, which ranks Nigeria 131 out of 190 countries. By this new ranking, Nigeria has gone up 15 places from 146th position last year. The report also named Nigeria as one of the top 10 most improved economies in the world for the second time in 3 years. Nigeria is one of only 2 African countries to make this highly prestigious list. With this year's leap, Nigeria has improved an aggregate of 39 places in the World Bank Doing Business Index since 2016. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari describes the announcement as welcoming and notes that Nigeria's movement by 15 places to 131, as well as the recognition being given to Nigeria as one of the top 10 most improved countries that have implemented the most reforms in 2020 is significant. The Doing Business Index is an annual ranking that objectively assesses prevailing business climate conditions across 190 countries based on 10 ease of doing business indicators. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Zubairu Dada says Nigeria has put in place 110 foreign missions across the globe to achieve its diplomatic objectives. At the 2020 budget defense before the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, the minister also said legislations are required for the actualization of the missions. Let's now join National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu for details.
Deliberations at the defense session focused on the fight against corruption, adequate funds to ensuring success of the country's foreign policy, and commitment to legislations that will safeguard the Nigeria's image.
What is critical now is an appreciation of the true problems on the ground and the political will to address such problems and challenges.
The 9th Assembly legislative agenda entails a foreign policy that will address the abuses of Nigerians and enhance the image of our country, which has been affected by several factors.
At the budget defense session, National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it will provide long-term plans in which Muslims will be visiting Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, which is also part of Islamic history, through collaboration with National Christian Pilgrims Commission. 2020 budget proposal by the National Christian Pilgrims Commission includes construction of headquarters project on its permanent site in Abuja central area. Meanwhile, 2020 budget proposal for the Federal Ministry of Industry is focusing on economic policies and programs of the federal government towards increasing investor confidence in the country.
The ministry's vision is to promote economic growth, create jobs and generate wealth, while the mission is to formulate and implement policies and programs to attract investment, boost industrialization, increase trade and exports, and develop enterprises.
The committee will immediately embark on a fact-finding oversight immediately the 2020 budget is passed.
Also at the Senate, Minister of Education Adamu has defended the 2020 budget proposal for the sector before the Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund.
The Minister of Education has obtained approval for the establishment of 2 federal universities. Federal University of Health Sciences in Otukpo, Benue, and the Federal University of Agriculture in Zuru, Kebbi State, and 2 federal polytechnics, Federal Polytechnic Daura in Kaduna State, and Federal Polytechnic Kaltungo in Gombe State.
The committee will scrutinize the submissions and take a decision on the budget.
The Ministry of Education seeks additional funds for execution of mandates by the 7 subsectors of the ministry, which include federal polytechnics, federal colleges of education, and federal universities. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
And still on legislative matters, selected projects that would impact the country's economy are specifically congested in the more than 87 billion naira 2020 budget estimate for the Ministry of Water Resources. The Minister, Suleiman Adamu, made this clarification while defending the 2020 budget before the House Committee on Water Resources. Again, National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Rolling over the Federal Ministry of Water Resources 2020 budget proposal has a capital expenditure of 78 billion naira, about 8 billion naira personnel, and 1.66 billion naira overhead.
Clear perspective what we are asking, so don't be shy of asking what do we mean by that.
Minister Suleiman Adamu requested the committee to revisit the country's water revenue processes through the Integrated Water Resources Commission.
The ministry still believes that with adequate and timely releases of budgetary allocations to the sector, we'll be able to achieve our set targets and contribute immensely towards the realization of the policy thrusts of the Buhari administration.
River Basin Operations and Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Water Resources, Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority, and Cross River Basin Development Authority also defended their 2020 budget estimates before the committee, seeking for additional funds in their proposals. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
And it's time to join Hingino in our Lagos Network Center for an update on the Lagos-Ibadan rail project. Hello, Hingino, you're on.
Thank you, Hawa, and welcome to Lagos. The directive by the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, to the contractor handling Lagos-Ibadan rail project to increase the pace of work on the Lagos end of the project is being adhered to. Dotun Ogunyemi, who monitored the ongoing construction work, reports that significant improvement have been made.
Section 1 of the project covers the distance of 43 kilometers from Ebutemeta to Iju. Having moved a higher percentage of its entire workforce to this section, the contractor and his team are working day and night and, where possible, recruiting more hands to deliver the project as now stipulated. Everywhere you turn along the project sites, there are men at work.
This is Mushin, one of the communities where the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line connects. The scope of work that is being done by the construction company is ensuring that they discover water channels and build culverts like this along this corridor. And so far, 3 have been built from Yaba to this point.
Aside Mushin, other locations visited include Oshodi, Yaba, Ilupeju, Ladipo and Agege, where the scope of work differs.
We remain committed, to the yarn of the federal government of Nigeria, especially on the aspect of getting Apapa Port connected by rail via this standard gauge project. We are reassuring Nigerians' populace, especially the Lagosians, that this project is going to affect their life positively.
Despite the rains and other challenges, such as impediments like this, gas and water pipelines on the project's right-of-way, the contractor is building concrete protections. As the completion date draws near for the Lagos-Ibadan railway project, the expectation of the people is high that social-economic development will be accelerated. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Talking digitization now. How to harness the economic benefits of digitization was the fulcrum of the 18th Annual General Meeting and the 72nd General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, held in Lagos. Sa'a Ibrahim also emerged the new BON chairman at the event. The world is no doubt in a digital era, and the broadcast industry is having its share of technological advancement. To keep abreast of the trend, Nigeria began its journey of transition from analog to digital broadcasting around 2007.
The delay in bringing out a firm roadmap and releasing a firm timetable for the analog switch off of states already switch on and those that are to be switched on is something that is very critical.
But 12 years into the journey, key players in the broadcast industry are making further efforts at ensuring the country successfully switches over to digital broadcasting. This gathering, under the auspices of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, is part of such strategies.
The federal government acknowledges that the DSO project is in a critical situation and has approved the release of funds in tranches of 15 billion.
I am now more than ever before convinced that we will also become the capital of television in Africa within the next few years if we execute our DSO as planned.
It's therefore important to encourage achieving youths to fully engage in the business of content provision, creation, taking into account our very rich cultural diversity.
The consensus at this forum is that digitization, apart from other numerous benefits, will empower individuals economically as well as improve the nation's GDP. Still on technology, the internet is undoubtedly one of the fastest growing areas of technical infrastructure, and its challenges pose great threats to users. Seeking solution to this trend, ICT experts converged on Lagos to brainstorm on cybersecurity from Nigeria's perspective. Adeola Omokive report.
I received an email from someone, an trusted individual who had been hacked. Luckily, I was still quite alert. And about 10 minutes later, I had a couple of bleeps on my email.
This is one of the many testimonies from Nigerians who have fallen prey to cyberspace fraudsters and hackers. Since cybersecurity has risen to become a national concern, the ICT Symposium provided experts the opportunity to shed more light on the challenges of cybersecurity, identify top threats, and need to abide by regulations.
I guess it's a case of we have to be aware of what these challenges are. I think it's all about education, because you need to inform people.
Whether we like it or not, your name, your location, your email address, or your phone number have things that are of value to certain individuals.
As the challenges grow and as more businesses are adopting technology, we need a lot more experts in that space.
What we can do is from time to time continue to draw awareness of the people that this threat exists, how to avoid it, and how to manage it when it occurs.
Other issues brought to the fore were global technological development, where Nigeria fits in, and the easier channels of accessing funds. In Lagos, Adeola Omokive, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after the break. Do stay with us.
The new edition of TV Guide is out, exclusively taking a look at the traditional television and new media. Are they comparable or complementary? Media industry players give perspective on the trends, progress, challenges, and the way forward. Find out on this compelling edition of TV Guide. Expository interviews with stars of the team within our space. Becky Madojemo of NTA, Tibe Umore of AIT, Nifemi Oguntai of TVC, and a host of others. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also feature Iya Medina.
I'm the CEO, managing director of Iya Medina Sister Restaurant. I choose to serve. Shut up your mouth. Let me finish.
A TV drama series on NTA. Let's get to meet the characters behind Iya Medina. This edition also presents exciting features on tourism, culture, entertainment, sports, health, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendors near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
has succeeded to rule a galaxy of stars from the north, south, east to the west, and central Africa, and also those that are domiciled beyond the shores of Africa under one roof.
Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit 2019 holds on the 6th to the 8th of November 2019. The summit will take place at the Banquet Hall Presidential Villa, Abuja, Nigeria. Theme: leveraging diaspora resources for economic growth. Sectors: agribusiness, education, training, healthcare, entertainment, sports, hospitality and tourism, infrastructure and real estate, manufacturing, extractive industries, telecommunications, technology and innovation, waste management and environmental remediation, transportation. For registration, visit www.ndis.gov.ng. For participation and sponsorship, please call 090-177-77008, 0817-2244-660. Convened by the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission.
Thanks for rejoining us. The Nigerian Television Authority has been encouraging and supporting young scientists and artists over the years through the NTA ETV Arts, Science and Technology Expo, now over a decade. There is an expansion of the scope to accommodate more projects, but there seems to be no commensurate response from relevant authorities to harness the potential of the young inventors, a situation that has played a part in slowing down the country's technological advancement.
NTA is to project the children and for the private sector to take over from them. NTA cannot do everything, but we approach the private sector, they are not interested. Okay. That's where we have a problem.
Participants expressed hope that if all key players collaborate, Nigeria will be well on the way to delivering on its huge potential through technology.
On using them, we gather them and then we use them to make furnitures, chairs and tables.
A new technology that's coming through the world of using renewable energy source to make a change in our society. And we have available spray machine in the country that are not working perfectly, and most they are expensive and some are cheap, but this does not reach the level or the quality our local farmers need. So I think I can make a change.
Coal-burn oven used for drying and baking of some food items like cake, bread and other pastries. And I did that because of the nature of electricity in our country today. We have an unsteady nature of electricity. So with the use of that, you can use either a coal or a firewood, either a gas or a small stove. You can use it and bake your food.
And I'm now being joined in the studio by two young inventors, Fadila Umar and Adebusi Precious. Fadila found a way to convert waste plastic into ceramics and is showcasing it at the ongoing NTA ETV National Children's Arts, Science, Technology Expo 2019. The theme is promoting unity, innovation in youth as agents of change. Fadila, you're welcome to the NTA studios.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Precious, you're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Fadila, it's been 4 days at the NTA. How would you describe the experience and what did you showcase?
Okay, the experience has been a wonderful one, an exciting one indeed. And what I showcased for this year's expo was converting waste plastic into composite floor and wall tiles. Now, the composite floor and wall tiles were made from waste plastic, as I earlier stated, mixed with kaolin or local clay.
Okay. I can see some of the... Is that
yes.
what you showcased?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, what motivated you to go into this area?
Okay. Okay, the rate at which we are facing dangers of waste plastic in the society is becoming alarming. And scientifically, it takes about 1,000 years of waste plastic to biodegrade into the soil. And before they do, they cause a lot of havoc. So we actually many that decided to key into waste management so that we can help our society to become a better place. Then we decided to melt this waste plastic and see what can we use it to do. Then on melting it, we found out it becomes into a molten form. Then we poured it into a normal pot, like we now compressed it. Okay. Then we allowed it to solidify. Then we brought it out and saw that it actually formed something good. We now said, what can we do further to make it something very beautiful? Okay. Then we constructed a mold, because our school is a technical school. We constructed a 4-corner mold. Then we poured this molten form inside the mold and compressed it, and it gave us a composite flour and water. So from them we are improving, we are giving different designs on it to make it very beautiful.
How durable is this style?
This style is very durable because in our school we carried out a local durability test where we ran a car over it and replaced it with the conventional tile. And the conventional tile broke, but ours did not break.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you feel that you were involved in this process?
I feel very happy, and also during this process I learned different kinds of things.
Okay, during this process you learned different things like what?
Like scientific things, cracking, the meaning of cracking, solidification, binding, all the scientific principles.
Oh, that's very good and encouraging too. Let's now join Precious. Precious, what did you display at the expo?
I displayed some work, drawing and shadings for people that anytime you see pictures and you are drawing it, that anytime that people that are seeing my work that are appreciating it and they are very excited, and me myself, I'm very happy to myself. But the only thing is that when I was small, when I was 6 years, my parents discovered my talent when I was 6 years, and they started encouraging me. Since then, that is now that I'm having a great talent.
Okay, I can see you walked into the studio with some. I can see some of those. Can we see one of those pictures? Is that one of your works?
Yes.
You actually did this?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So what? How do you get pictures of the people you have in mind and just draw them, or when you see them, the motivation comes on? How does it come to you?
And you always think that when we always see the picture from Facebook, we'll be always printing it before they'll print the picture, so you now start drawing it.
Okay, so how do you feel that you have a picture of the president that looks exactly like him?
As I'm drawing it, I feel very interesting as I'm enjoying it and be working.
And I understand you came overall, you are the overall winner in the arts division.
Yes.
Okay, what school do you represent?
Ojoju Junior High School.
Okay, now you've displayed this, your talent and some of your works at the expo. How do you feel, considering the fact that you've displayed this and you definitely have to go back to your schools after these 4 days?
I feel very excited.
Okay.
I feel very happy.
Okay.
And I feel very impressed.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Farida. Farida, you just talked about the ties being very durable.
Yes.
And Fadila, that they're very durable. And what is your advice to government and the private sector? If you have to come up with something like this, should they just be left on the shelves?
No.
Okay.
My advice to the government and other private investors is that they should please key into this kind of project, because it's going to help our economy a lot. It's going to promote our economic stability.
Okay. And Precious, what's your advice to government and the private sector in assisting people like you?
I want government to look up over all time my work whenever that I'm working. Started watching what I'm doing and started appreciating for what I give.
And so what do you say to the NTA for giving you this platform?
Let's say a very big thank you to
NTA
for this great opportunity.
For the opportunity give it to me to participate in this contest. I say God will continue to bless that organization.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Precious, and Fadila for coming to the NTA studios.
Thank
you. Really appreciate you. Now, let's join Abdullahi in our Kaduna Network Center for more reports. Abdullahi, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Hawa. Good to see you too, and thanks for joining us here in Kaduna. Indigents of 17 communities from across Igabi local government area of Kaduna State who fled their villages fear of reprisal attacks from bandits are expected to go back to their ancestral homes soon. This follows the deployment of security personnel by the Kaduna State Police Command to flush out the suspected bandits from the area. Ahmad Umar Kudan reports that the spokesperson of the command, Yakubu Sabo, said security has already been beefed up around the affected villages.
These are victims of armed bandits attacks from 17 villages in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. Most of them are women and children.
They killed our husbands and children. They carted away all our properties.
They are now taking refuge in this primary school to save their lives following gun battle between the bandits and vigilantes. Adam Abdullahi, who is among the victims, is still searching for his wife and 3 children.
I was away when the incident happened. Up till now, I'm still looking for my wife and 3 children.
The Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency is on ground to assess the situation for immediate intervention.
First of all, we want to assist to see the condition they are in order to know what type of assistance can we give.
Meanwhile, the Kaduna State Police Command says personnel of the command have been deployed to fortify security in the affected villages.
The ones that have been sent on operation in the bush to hunt these people are still there, and we are receiving reports that they are still advancing.
The command confirmed that the crisis escalated when vigilantes launched a raid on the hideouts of the suspected bandits. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudan, NTA News.
Kano state government has recruited 600 teachers for the takeoff of Almajiri school system. About 400 schools were selected from 44 local government areas in the state under the Sangaya program. Fatima Sunusik Are reports that this heralded the commencement of academic activities in these schools.
Continued efforts to ensure the implementation of free and compulsory basic and junior education in Kano State, the state government has recruited teachers that will teach English and mathematics under the Basic Education Service Delivery for All BESDA, supported by the World Bank. The pilot project will cover more than 300 Sangaya schools across the state. Kano State government says Almajiris will be taught relevant subjects on Thursdays and Fridays instead of allowing them to roam streets aimlessly or engage in menial jobs, which experts believe is demeaning.
I'll be able to get to obtain certificate.
The initiative is expected to bring back the dignity and resourcefulness of the overall development of the society and the country at large. 200 million naira was approved by the state government for the purchase of books and other learning materials in the state. Quranic teachers express happiness over the development, noting that integrating these vulnerable children into the mainstream curriculum-based education system will definitely give them a sense of belonging.
Kano state government is bringing Western education into the Sangaya system. This is one of the pilot schools that is expected to benefit from the basic education service delivery for all.
It is, however, hoped that the curriculum for the Sangaya schools will be modified in such a way that it will tally with the national curriculum. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garai, NTA News.
Many thanks, Fatima, there, and the report from Kano and contribution from Kaduna is back to Abuja, where Hawa is standing by to continue nationwide. Hawa.
Many thanks, Abdullahi. And electoral bodies, both at national and state levels, will perform better if the laws are remodeled to meet up with contemporary challenges. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said this during a meeting with the Forum of State Electoral Commissions in Abuja.
I know that in many states they have their regulations and guidelines, but we need model laws that will govern the conduct of local government elections in the country that draw to a considerable extent from the national electoral legal framework. The second issue that we need to talk together is the independence of the electoral commissions cannot be guaranteed where there is no financial independence. So whatever we can do to work together with you to ensure financial independence for the electoral commissions, that will enormously help the conduct of elections.
Nigeria is said to possess the required resources to change the dynamics of its population with strong leadership in a competitive world. Digit Nigeria, a civil organization making the Nigerian budget and public data more understandable and accessible to Nigerians, says it is achievable with more participation from the citizens. Timothy Yusuf reports.
It is the time to present the State of States 2019 Fiscal Responsibility Report by Budget Nigeria. The 128-page report shows Lagos State leading the Fiscal Sustainability Index, followed by Rivers, Akwa Ibom and Kano states. The report discovered that states in South Nigeria ran high recurrent bills, mainly driven by the high revenues and due to the 13% derivation.
Or what the implication of looking at this index? We want to understand, without broad federal allocations, how many states can sustain themselves.
We ensure that we got all the 36 states' actual expenditure data for our analysis.
With only 3 states identified as being capable of meeting up their obligations with state-owned revenues, the need for states and the FCT to concentrate on internally generated revenue and less of borrowing towards the attainment of realistic budget implementation dominated experts' opinion.
What you see in the budget is different from what you see in the actuals. There's wide disparity.
If states can rein in recurrent expenditure and rework the budgeting system, they will be able to increase budget performance.
Let me reiterate the World Bank's strong commitment to supporting the government of Nigeria at the federal and at the state level through our work, analytical work, technical assistance and financing in its efforts to strengthen revenues, fiscal governance and improving human capital outcomes.
The report is expected to aid states in their budget processes and implementation. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
And today is World Polio Day. The day is devoted to raising awareness for polio vaccination and eradication of the disease. This year's commemoration coincides with the declaration of Nigeria as non-polio endemic. But while there is celebration in the air, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are suggesting strategies to ensure there is no slip going forward.
By August 22nd, we were officially 3 years without polio cases. And we are now waiting for our final certification. It's a continuous exercise. In Rotary, we have involved all the clubs to move into communities, to connect with communities, connect with leaders, and to connect with even individuals in promoting the acceptance of polio vaccinations.
I think a little bit of humility is important here, to understand that we've gone so far, we've done so well, but continued work and continued vigilance is important. When Nigeria achieves this goal, then there's more work in terms of ensuring that we have continued surveillance for not just polio, but for other vaccine-preventable diseases that affect children.
For the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, another step is to deploy the volunteers and health workers who achieve this feat to good effect in other challenging areas of the health sector.
Governors now have to look for ways of bringing some of these very skilled individuals into the civil service so that they can continue to operate at the same level where Nigeria is being held globally as a country that has demonstrated innovation and resilience when it comes to polio eradication.
The guests agree Nigeria will overcome the challenges of diseases in the country. And it's time to join Abubakar in our Maiduguri Network Center for more reports on Nationwide. Hello.
It's good to see you, Hawa, and thank you for joining us in Maiduguri.
Borno State Government has convened a two-day retreat for members of the State Executive Council and other political offices to brainstorm on how to move the state forward. The choice of Damasak headquarters of Mobar local government in northern Borno, once occupied by insurgents as their caliphate, was to bring the office holders face to face with realities on ground and to remind them that their appointments were not for, I beg your pardon, for luxury. Mohammed Goni now reports.
The retreat was an avenue for members of the State Executive Council to reaffirm their purposes of holding public trust and rededicate themselves to serve the people of Borno State, and is expected to not only come up with achievable ideas, but design a time frame within which the State Executive Council achieved its set target. Governor Babagana Umara charged members of the State Executive Council, appointees and top government functionaries to make contributions driven by realities in Damasak and all communities in Borno affected by the decade-long security challenges. He further enjoined the participants to freely and honestly contribute to how the State Executive Council members and other top government functionaries can be more accountable, productive and focused.
Major issues that were discussed are among that of operational procedure in the council, synergy between ministries, and how we can work together for the betterment of the people of Borno State.
Secretary to the State Government, Usman Jideshua, said the current political disposition and the leadership style require a serious reorientation of public office holders if they are to effectively contribute to putting the state on the path of development.
This is the first time the State Executive Council retreat is being held outside the state capital. And the reason for choosing Damasak, the headquarters of Mabar local government, according to Professor Babagana Umara, the Borno State Governor, is to, among other things, to enable those in the position of authority to appreciate and feel the plight of the people of the area, and at the same time appreciate the magnitude of challenges brought about by the Boko Haram insurgency to the people of the area. From Damasak, the headquarters of Mabar local government, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Residents of northeastern states of Adamawa, Borno and Yobe have now moved away from the bitter experience of open fight against insurgency to a more flexible carrot and stick approach in order to promote normalcy and development. Mohammed Ibrahim examines policies and community-driven programs based on need assessment championed by the state governments and development partners geared towards building the resilience of the affected people while promoting the peace process.
Tough times do not last, but tough people do, could be the adage that best describes the decade of resilience of government and people in the states battling the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast. In the worst hit Borno state, governments, development partners, as well as the citizens are on the same page in promoting the peace process beyond the usual support to counter-insurgency operations, which has led to massive investments on education, social protection, alongside economic empowerment.
The civilian JTF and mass recruitment of hunters, investing heavily in social protection, identifying people who do not have means of livelihood and creating livelihood support for them through some allocations of resources.
A new program rolled out by the World Bank and federal government in collaboration with Borno and Yobe state governments is the Youth Empowerment and Social Support Operation, YESO, where 49,000 youths are engaged in work and pay, in addition to other initiatives by actors and humanitarian providers.
Grants were being paid to the internally displaced persons, and the total of about 47,000 households have benefited from 30,000 basic allowances.
The traditional institutions in the two states have taken it a step further by holding regular security meetings with stakeholders, while civil society organizations teach the youths to be peace ambassadors in their communities.
Submissions were made by an array of actors on concerns and needs of the people, and hopefully His Excellency the Executive Governor have committed that this concern would be appropriately listened to, and the government will prioritize working on the concerns presented by the people.
Effective displacement management and response planning through the collective efforts of philanthropists, community leaders and politicians, with more international and local NGOs support programs, are gradually clearing the road for the return of normalcy in the northeast. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
Borno State government has stressed commitment to revive agricultural activities in Mobile local government area of northern Borno Senatorial District. Governor Babagana Umara restated this determination while flagging off distribution of food items to over 10,000 inhabitants of Damasak town, headquarters of the local government, as part of two-day engagement in the area. Mohammed Goni has the rest of the story.
Damasak headquarters of Mobile local government area, a hope of agricultural activities in northern Borno Senatorial District, was overrun and occupied by the insurgents in 2014, but was however liberated in 2016 by the multinational Joint Task Force. The repeated attacks on the community forced inhabitants of the area to take refuge in Niger Republic, while thousands of those who returned mostly depend on food aid and the skeletal business as well as farming activities. Governor Babagana Umara visited two distribution points as early as 6 o'clock in the morning to personally supervise issuance of tickets preparatory to distribution of the commodities. Beneficiaries have expressed gratitude to the state government for the intervention and further appeal for more support to enable them return to farming activities. Each beneficiary, according to the governor, will be given a bag of rice and maize grape, as well as 10 kg bag of beans, while each woman will receive a fabric and 1,000 naira for sewing the cloth.
And this community are not receiving supply of food from donor agencies for a long time. So we are here purposely today, among others, to ensure that the communities are well fed.
Addressing stakeholders, civilian JTF and hunters, Governor Babagana Umara said restoration of peace and security, as well as resuscitation of irrigation activities in the area, remain a priority of his administration. He also pledged to provide 4 additional vehicles to the civilian JTF and hunters, as well as provision of other logistics. From Damasak, the headquarters of Mobile local government, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Maiduguri. There will be more stories on Nationwide shortly.
History was made in Africa with the birth of the first television station, WNTV, in Ibadan, Nigeria, on October 31, 1959.
I have great pleasure in formally launching Western Nigeria Television, first in Africa.
Television in Africa clocked 60 this year. It's time to celebrate this remarkable achievement. Various activities are lined up. Photo exhibition, a colloquium, public presentation of broadcasting books, and a gala night. Be part of these events, powered by Foundation for Ibadan Television Anniversary Celebrations, FITAC,
and supported by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. The NTA and the Village Headmaster family are pleased to announce the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the award-winning Village Headmaster television series. Monday, 28 October 2019, command performances of the Village Headmaster at the Terraculture Arena, Victoria Island, Lagos. Red carpet, 5 p.m. and live performance, 6 p.m. Tuesday, 29th October 2019 at 10 a.m. Roundtable discussion at Freedom Park, Broad Street, Lagos. Theme: Drama, a tool for national development. Join the NTA and the Village Headmaster family as we celebrate this Golden Jubilee. Attendance at both events is strictly by invitation. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Thanks for rejoining us on Nationwide. Saddled with the responsibility of protecting the maritime domain of the country, the Nigerian Navy is charting a new course in combating maritime crime with support from the Defense Headquarters. Najatu Tijani completes the report.
Piracy in the Gulf of Guinea and illegal oil refineries are just a tip
of what the Nigerian Navy grapples with in its mandate to protect Nigeria's maritime domain. It says its effort is paying off with a reduction in the rate of maritime crimes, and this training seeks to replicate and improve on these results, as maintained by the Chief of Naval Staff in his message delivered by the Chief of Policy
in partnership
and Plans.
With our allies in the sub-region and beyond must go over and beyond the call of duty towards ensuring the safety of the Gulf of Guinea, which we all know is our maritime area of interest.
During which a total of 100 officers could interact to further build the human capacity for Nigerian Navy operational efficiency.
Efforts in increased patrol by the Nigerian Navy and its counterparts has seen a reduction in piracy in the Gulf of Guinea from 72 incidents in 2018 to 30 in 2019. At a time when the country is in need of this sort of military expertise to overcome the evolving security challenges, it is expected that the knowledge imparted to these officers ranked lieutenant to rear admiral will foster a cultural change necessary for maintaining peace and unity in the country. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
And from security to sports, reactions trail Nigeria's refund of IAAF overpayment to AFN. Over now to Tamara Ebiwe on Sports Update.
Reactions continue to trail Youth and Sports Development Minister Sunday Daire's approval of funds for the refund of International Association of Athletics Federation